London Bridge is burning down, burning. Oh, it's supposed to be falling down, but it's not. The burning down. Grant Berry is a native of London. He's with Reconnecting Ministries. They got kind of the same crap show going on over there as we do here. Good morning, Grant.
Hey, Fawn, how are you?
I'm doing okay. We just have the dumbest stuff going on in this world right now that I never would have fathomed even 15 years ago.
Yeah, we've got some, just some crazy things going on. Protests on the extreme left, extreme right, and boy, sometimes I long for the days of Walter Cronkite.
Yeah, no kidding. Just when somebody told the truth. You know, this shooting outside the White House, people are standing there going, "What is that? Is that gunfire?" I'm like, how sheltered are you that you don't know what gunshots sound like? But, London's not any better. London has gone crazy.
I think we're seeing a movement, actually. I mean, England has some incredible spiritual wells. Mm-hmm. It was a great promoter of the gospel, one of the greatest missionary countries in the world, even before the USA. And, Christianity is under a major attack there.
Everywhere.
Even for the promoting of the gospel.
Yeah.
We're seeing, I think the way the government has acted in England is kind of similar to the government several years ago, trying to just be silent and appease this Muslim extremism. I'd actually like to see and hear moderate Muslims speak out a little bit more.
I've been begging for that, Grant. I've been begging for that since 9/11. I think I've heard two. And they keep saying, well, not all of us support that. I'm like, well, then say something. Why don't they? Do you think it's fear?
Again, the faith is that their faith has certain doctrines, that they don't speak out against those that are family, if you like.
They're making the rest of them look like they're maniacs.
I agree. But the challenge is, I often have these conversations with some in my family. The challenge is that when you look at the percentages of extreme Islam, it is still hundreds of millions. Mm-hmm. And here we have a nation, Iran, promoting terrorism all over the world, and especially against Israel.
And they're trying to say that Israel did October 7th. It wasn't. I'm like, all y'all need to stop making memes that are lies, because some people are dumb enough to believe them. The news cycle is just on the drumbeat of hatred of Christianity for some reason. I don't know what kind of heathenistic resume you have to get hired by a news agency these days out in big land America, or even in the UK, because yours are just as bad.
We're seeing the spiritual forces arise. I mean, think about it for a moment. How can there be a yokeness between wokeism and Islam, and yet those spirits in the West seem to be in cooperation? That speaks to the reality that there could only really be a devil, because they're so far against each other, and yet they're moving against Judaism and Christianity. But somehow, God is sovereign. Nothing happens without his knowledge. Mm-hmm. And the forces are kind of moving. Remember, we're still a sinful world that needs to be saved by grace.
I agree, but free will is a thing. And, all these people who are part of fringe groups that are against Catholicism, who are against Christianity, who are against the Jews, who are speaking out saying, from the river to the sea, Palestine must be free. I'm like, if they, even for 1 week, spent time over there doing what they do, they'd all be dead. And I don't know why it is that they don't know that. Are they just that unfamiliar, or are they obtuse? What is the deal?
It's deception, Fawn, and this is the point I was making. We're seeing these spiritual forces move into play, and when you read Scripture, and especially the prophetic books in the Bible and Revelation, we know that things are coming into play. We know that Jesus is ultimately going to return. The Jews are waiting for him to come. Christians are waiting for him to return. And somehow, and we're seeing an incredible witness arise between Christians and even Orthodox Jews.
Are the Jews waiting for him to come? Because I don't think they think the same way as Christians do.
Well, the religious Jews are waiting. Okay. They believe in Mashiach, and they're waiting for Messiah to come. And remember, Paul writes the letter to the Romans, don't be ignorant to this mystery as we come into the fullness of the Gentiles, so all Israel will be saved. So there are many promises in Scripture that Israel will be fully restored. And Jesus said himself, I'll not return until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. So we're seeing all these movements of these spiritual forces, and there's such a need for the church to arise in a greater place of prayer.
I agree, Grant, but we don't have machine guns and nuclear weapons. The Islamists do. So, we're not going to go out and kill people in the name of our religion unless we have to, blow up a few leaders over in Nigeria who are killing all of our brethren. So, occasionally you got to fight back with force if you want Christianity to stay alive, because they're killing us.
I think there is a place always for nations. Even biblically, there's a place for nations to defend itself, and I applaud Trump as the only president that has been willing to stand up and do something about this.
Can you imagine what the last thought was before that guy? Just thinking, I wonder what his last thought was before the house went kapooey. I'm just thinking, I'm going to take care of these. Gone. Yeah, I hate to celebrate it, but I have to, because he was a horrible, horrible, demonic human being, and now he's gone. And I realize there's going to be another one to take his place, but we're going to just have to keep taking him out. I wish Trump could be president for even longer so he could finish the job, but I truly hope his predecessor understands how important this is. But I know this is personal to you. I get it, because you're relevant when it comes to your perspective on this. But what's happening in the UK is the same as what's happening in America. There's a Christian awakening, but there's also an Islam awakening. And they have more babies than we are. So this is a worrisome thing.
No question about it, and ultimately it will come into a major conflict. It's written. It is written. It's there in print, and we're moving in that direction. But ultimately, it will be for the good of the world, for Jesus to return to us.
Yeah, I don't think we're in the end times, though. I just don't believe it, because we've got so many good people who are fighting the good fight to keep it from getting to that point. There's nothing that we can do to stop what is written. I get that, but people have been saying we're in the end time since 1912. They've been saying it forever. People have been drinking
even before
Kool-Aid.
that.
Yeah.
They even said it in the first century.
Yeah, so we're not in the end times. I wasn't there then, but I'm just saying. But I don't think we're in the end times. It just kind of feels like it.
Yeah, the Lord said, he gave a direction to us. He said, watch. And remember, Israel is now a nation. All those prophecies about Israel and the Jews coming back to the land has taken place. I believe we're moving towards it, and there's a chapter in the Bible in Ezekiel who prophesied Israel's restoration, 37, In fact, Benjamin Netanyahu actually quoted the dry bones coming back to life when he did a speech in Poland. But there's a centrality in the middle of Ezekiel 37, which is really much about our ministry focus. It's verses 9 to 11, 911, sounding the alarm. And there's basically a call to the church to call on the winds that the Spirit would be released back into the Jewish people. And I think that's where we are in that timeline. If you look at the third prophecy there, it has to do with the Lord's return. It's the dead raising, and the dead raise when the Lord returns. So I tend to agree with you that we're not right there, but we are definitely moving towards it, Fawn. And the church has a huge role that it's just yet beginning to discover. We call it a circle of love, because it was those initial Jews that believed in Jesus and took the gospel out to the world, laid down their lives so that God's children in the nations could believe in Him.
But we know all this, and I don't want to recite the Bible for the entire interview. I'm sorry, I have to stop you because I want to know. I want to know. We've only got 2 minutes left now, not even a minute and a half. But it's like, you know, the dead aren't going to rise when Jesus comes back, because I believe you go to heaven right after you die. If not, I'm being cremated. I guess I'm screwed. So, you know, when we look at these protests and the things that are all anti-Christian, because they are, if you say something, you're doing something in the name of the Lord, they call you a fanatic. If you do something in the name of Islam, they call you a radical. And so both of us have labels that they put on the ones who are acting out and doing things. But I want to ask you right now, and in the minute that we have left, why do they keep trying to kill Trump? The left thinks it's all fake, but it's not. The man almost got shot in the head. So you don't fake somebody shooting at your head. That's just ridiculous. But Charlie Kirk is dead, and all the people who are trying to breathe life into the Christian movement are being attacked. So, what do you think that means?
I just, you know, when someone like Trump is standing up so much for Christian values, and we've got such, our country is so divided with such strong views on both sides. There's tremendous hatred. There's nothing that Trump can do. I mean, he could save the world, and the Democrats would find a way to come against it and exploit it. We've got a horrible division in us that we really need to somehow find a way to address, if that's possible.
Yeah, well, they're literally going to diagnose TDS as an actual illness, because people are so hell-bent on hating Trump at this point that they are causing other people to act out and, you know, have gunfights outside the White House. And everyone's like, well, they tried to kill Biden and they tried to get... There's always a wacko out there. But right now, things have really stepped up. And it's not just here. It's all over the world where people are going after Jews and going after Christians. But, Grant, where do they go to learn more about Reconnecting Ministries?
We have two websites. The free abbreviated teachings for the Romans 911 Project are on Romans911.org, Romans911.org, and our main website, full of resources to help the body come into greater love and unity, reconnectingministries.org, reconnectingministries.org.
Everybody check it out. Grant, thank you for your time, and God bless.
Ford, bless you too. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.